What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It is time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarych. My ADHD meds have just kicked in. I just got a sudden rush of energy as we were starting. I'm excited to be here with my friends, talking some Peacemaker. First up, joining me, we got MetalCoreNerds himself, the host of the MetalCoreNerds podcast. I guess you are not all of the MetalCoreNerds. You're just the leader of the MetalCoreNerds. John Mott, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. It's Friday. Post Peacemaker Friday. It's good. It's a good day. Happy to be here.
I've been one behind on my days all week. Like, I thought yesterday was Wednesday. I thought today was Thursday. And so I was really out of sorts getting things like prep for the podcast and sorted and things ready to go. And you know who else was getting out of sorts in terms of when they were supposed to be on the podcast? It was our surprise guest today because she's co-hosting next week with Damon when I can't be there. And she's joining us today as well, a last-minute addition, and we are thrilled to have her on. Rachel Leishman. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm doing great. I'm very out of sorts this week. On Tuesday, I emailed somebody about an interview on Wednesday, like, I'm so sorry I can't do today. And they were like, okay, well, it's Tuesday. This is Wednesday. I was like, oh, yeah, great. Thank you so much. Bye. So I understand your thought process there. But yeah, and I also thought that I was supposed to be on the podcast today and rewatched this episode and was like, well, I'm prepped.
You sent me a text, ... and I was like, oh no, what did I do wrong? Wait a minute, it wasn't me. Yes.
It was me.
It felt good because I've done things like that like 4 or 5 different times this week already. But today is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. And I got a pretty exciting Saturday coming up. It's here in Saskatoon. We got a little convention run by a friend named Stephen Boyd. And it's called Sask Assemble. And so we got toys, we got local comic creators and things of the sort gathering at a hall here in Saskatoon. And I'm going to be moderating a panel, my second ever panel moderation. And it's for creators of a local comic that is coming, or not a local comic, but local creators of a comic that will be coming out here soon called Skybreaker. And so looking forward to chatting about that. I got the bug. I've moderated one panel before, and it was Nolan North. It was so much fun. It was so cool, and it has just given me the itch, the bug. I want to do it again so bad. I had so much fun doing it, and that kind of has become like my main goal. The thing I want to do the most in this industry is I want to moderate panels. So we're manifesting, we're putting it into existence, and it should be a fun one here at Sask Assemble on Saturday. Agents of Fandom has a little booth as well. So if you're a local listener, you're here in Saskatoon with me, come to Sask Assemble at the Western Development Museum and pop by the Agents of Fandom booth to win some free giveaway stuff. Speaking of free giveaway stuff, we're going to get back on the giveaway and contest train. Not quite yet, but I want to get back into things. And so make sure you're subscribed to the Agents of Fandom podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. That's all you're going to need to do to be eligible. And if you want some bonus entries to some contests we're going to be doing, plus if you have a question, a comment, a theory you want us to read on air, drop us a 5-star review and rating on Apple, on Spotify. Leave us a review. Drop your question, your theory, your comment, your idea in the review section, and we will read it here on the podcast. We'll discuss it. We'll shout you out, and we'll have a nice little chat about it. Before we start talking about Peacemaker, the reason we are all gathered here today, I want to talk about Whatcha Watchin'. And Rachel, I'll throw it to you first because we haven't chatted in a while. I texted you the other day to do the pod, and I was like, 1, I want to talk about a podcast, but 2, I miss you. How are you? And so I want to know what you've been watching in your busyness.
Oh, brother. Okay, let's think about this. What have I been watching? I'm rewatching Scream Queens. Unknowingly am wearing my Glen Pal summer shirt just like I had it on. So that wasn't intentional. I wore this morning. But I've been rewatching Scream Queens, an underrated Ryan Murphy show. I saw One Battle After Another, a banger of a film. Because I interviewed Leonardo DiCaprio. but
NBD.
no big deal. But that movie rules, and just my Real Housewives catching up, all of my little dumb TV shows that I watched to like relax. Oh, and I watched that really crazy documentary about the girl whose mom catfished her.
Jeez, I've only seen like the clips and some posts from that, but it looks absolutely bonkers. I don't think I want to watch that one. But I've been on the note of I haven't gotten to interview Leo, but I've seen a lot of them lately because I've been continuing my classic movie either rewatch or first time watch. I'm trying to pick up movies I've only seen once or not seen at all and knock out the blind spots. Just there's too many classic all-time films I either haven't seen or only have seen once. And so looking forward to continuing that. And this week, I've had some fun ones, including Gangs of New York and The Departed. So I've watched lots of Leo lately. I watched Jerry Maguire, Total Recall. These are not more other Leo movies. I'm just like looking. I started with the Leo ones, and now we are moving on to the other ones I've watched since the last podcast.
So I was like, that's Tom Cruise.
And yeah, I didn't pause enough.
Well, no, or unless you think he's Jonathan Lipnicki. I don't know who you thought he was in Jerry.
He actually went through the portal to an alternate dimension where Leonardo DiCaprio starred in Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, as Jonathan Lipnicki's role in 96, and he was fully a teenager / young adult.
Uh-huh.
Leo DiCaprio was actually the little boy in Jerry Maguire.
That's Jonathan Lipnicki.
Oh, that is Jonathan Lipnicki. Okay, fair. Yeah, my bad. I just know him as my guy from Like Mike. Like that's that's where I know Jonathan Lipnicki
Little
the most.
Vampire.
That is. Yeah, like that is
the vampire, but he is the star of My Little Vampire.
Yeah. Anyways, I have watched Departed and Gangs of New York recently. That was my quota of Leo movies for the week. But then I also was watching Jerry Maguire, Total Recall. I saw the live action Lilo and Stitch. I did a rewatch of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is just an absolutely incredible movie. So that's been my kind of movie questing over the last week. Saw some TV shows that we can't talk about quite yet, but I can say officially now that it's 100% confirmed, next week, another reason to hit the like button, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when our new content drops. I will be talking to Marvel Studios head of television and animation, Brad Winderbaum, as well as Marvel Zombies and What If director Brian Andrews on Tuesday. That'll be dropping later, actually probably the week after, the week that Marvel Zombies drops. So stay tuned to that one. Last time we talked to Brad Winderbaum and Brian Andrews, actually, we got some really good scoops. We got some really good information. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait to chat with both of them again. Sean, how about you? What you been watching?
First off, this is a shameless self-promotion plug, but Sam and I went and saw a Day to Remember for like the third time in a year a couple days ago, and she shot a Day to Remember for a third time in a year a couple days ago. So if you go to MetalCoreNerds.com, you can check out the full gallery of what she shot of a Day to Remember. There's also a yellow card one coming too soon as well.
Ooh,
so like looking at really cool pictures of live shows, MetalCoreNerds.com. We got a ton of galleries up there. So check that out. And that was cool. I love seeing a Day to Remember, and I saw a ton of friends. It was nice. It was a nice time.
Alternatively, can I come to the Yellow Card concert?
Well, it's already happened. Like it was the same show. It was. I remember Yellow Card. I see it. Look at that. Jimmy World up there. ICP actually posted her on the main feed, which is nice. That was nice. There's a lot of stuff on. It's cool.
Check out MetalCoreNerds.com. And outside of the music, what you've been watching?
So I finally watched F1, which is the only thing I could say. It's the epitome of hell yeah. That entire movie rocked so hard. I'm kind of super sad I didn't watch it in theaters, but I got to watch it, and I'm happy that I did. I also watched the Unknown Number catfish thing, which TJ, you don't need to watch it because the whole surprise of it is finding out that the mom did it. So sorry for anyone. That's the biggest part of it. I will say the people that did the documentary, the way they asked questions to some of the kids felt really gross, and I didn't really like that. It just felt like weird the way they were kind of pushing them down other directions. But wow, that lady is messed up. I can't believe what she did to her child. Really gross. I also watched Queen of the Ring, which was weirdly directed by a dude who owns a alternative music record label, but pretty good movie. If you're a wrestling fan, I would say watch it because it's about Mildred Burke, I think is her name, but she kind of pioneered like women's wrestling like in the country in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. I started Task, the new HBO show.
Hell yeah.
Loving it so far. I mean, I've only seen one episode, but very stoked to see where that one goes, and glad to have another Sunday HBO show weekly. And then I watched The Map That Leads to You, the Prime Video straight to streaming movie. It was good. It was pretty solid. Made me cry. Got me at the end. I don't want to say anything because there's a big thing you find out in the middle, I guess. But I want to leave it for people to see it. I haven't seen people talking about that movie a lot, but I knew it was based on a book, and I knew it was probably going to be emotional, and it was. So that's about it. All the other TV shows I can't talk about yet. So
you can also head to agentsofphantom.com and check out many of our new reviews from the Toronto International Film Festival. We had Ethan Sidney and Ryan Cortero at TIFF, and you can find 5 of Ethan's reviews already up on agentsofphantom.com. Ryan still has his coming. You can also find The Summer I Turned Pretty recaps, my Peacemaker review, and much more, including Only Murders in the Building. So check out agentsofphantom.com so you don't miss out on a lot of the latest stuff that is dropping right now. I think it's time, my friends, to before that, I wanted to just like touch on briefly the Nintendo Direct before we start Peacemaker this morning. Sean, are you a Nintendo guy at all? You got a Switch?
I have a Nintendo Switch too.
You do it? Okay. Did you check out this Nintendo Direct at all and see any of the announcements?
No, I know nothing other than the Super Mario movie and then the remakes of the Galaxy that are coming. That's all I know that came from it. And I'm sure that's probably the biggest news, obviously. But
yeah, I think that probably was the biggest announcements was the Super Mario Galaxy movie, as well as those games being able to be played on Switch. But it was a pretty decent direct for I think Nintendo fans. Got a new Resident Evil game with a brand new trailer for that. You got a DLC for the Donkey Kong game. I am a really big Pokemon fan, and these Pokemon announcements didn't do too much for me, but there was a lot. Like there's a game called Pokemon Pokopia, which Ditto turns into a human, and you get like an Animal Crossing style Minecraft game with Pokemon where you are Ditto with a creepy little face turning into a human. Also got a announcement for a DLC already for the new Pokemon Legends game that's coming out shortly. You got some new Mega Evolutions. You got a new Metroid Prime game, a new trailer for the Metroid game dropping on December 4th. Lots of fun stuff. If you want to see all the trailers, you can check out to the Agents Fandom socials at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. And then if you want full breakdowns or you want to catch the entire live stream, you can go check out our friends at the Controller Club podcast, either on YouTube or on your podcast feeds. And they did a full breakdown of the live stream. Or a live reaction, and their full breakdown is coming later in the week. So check that out. Rachel, do you have a Nintendo Switch? Are you excited for any of these?
I mean, I have a Switch. I'm Mario Party.
Mm-hmm. We should play some online Mario Party.
I would love that. Me and Leah play, so we could do online Mario Party.
Yeah, me, you, Leah, and Ava. We could have a nice little 4-person Mario Party game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, because we're tired of the computers. The computers are evil. If I have to fight little Bowser Jr. again, I will physically punch him. I'm so mad, but I love Monty Mole because he's just like rolling around. He doesn't really know what he's up to. But yeah, I like Mario Party. My thing is, oh, you know what? This is the live show. Nintendo, if you want to send me your games to play, I'll review them. You're just too much money for me who only plays like when I have a moment.
You hear that, Nintendo? Send us your games, and we'll review them. We'll get them out there to the people. If they're good, we'll tell everybody how good they are. If they're bad, well, you may not want to send us your games because we're honest journalists, and we'll say that they're bad. But send us your good games. We'll play them and we'll review them. We'll tell the world how fun. Let's start talking about Peacemaker season 2. Rachel, we haven't had you on for Peacemaker yet, so what are your thoughts on the first half of the season?
I love it a lot. It is truly, I think, a better season than the first. And I don't know. I just think like overall, this season gives a lot more for fans of the show to kind of unpack, and that's fun to me.
Sean, how about you? We are at the halfway point. What do you think of the season so far?
I'm really liking it. I think it's I like how much it's doing what a season 2 should do, and it's building on the characters a lot more that I didn't expect that it would go that deep, which I guess I should have because it's James Gunn. But I like the way they're taking it. I know we didn't get any of the alternate universe this episode, but I like how they're exploring the multiverse. It's nice how it's being used as a story perspective and not any of that. But in this episode, I will say, because last episode I said I was struggling a little bit in the first few with a balance of tone, and it was only a little bit. It was only moments in the first two, and there was like a moment in last episode, but this episode there was no moments. I think it was mostly because mostly the Argus stuff is like insanely ridiculous, but some of the ridiculous was not matching with the serious, and now I think it's all at a level playing field where it all feels cohesive to me, at least. And I think it was Sacha Bordeaux kind of being mostly no nonsense without being too serious about her no nonsense, and pretty much calling them all idiots without calling them idiots, and also Harcourt kind of calling them a joke. It's pretty good. So I think that kind of alleviated any issue I had with any of that stuff. So this was like a very, very balanced episode. And can people stop saying that? I hate, like, people are like, nothing happened in this episode. I'm like, do you just not pay attention? I just don't understand. I don't understand. I was like, what do you mean? This is like a massive setup episode for the last half of the series. Like it's setting up all the actions for what's to come. Like I don't understand how people can watch this and say nothing happened. I don't know. I don't understand what people watch anymore.
And they don't like the show.
The first half of the episode, not a whole lot happened, but it's like you said, this was absolutely a putting the pieces in place episode. This was, we need to get everybody to the points that they need to be at for a big, obviously not finale, but they sent out 5 episodes for screeners as well. And so like people have only seen up to episode 5. They're setting up their big, almost late mid-season finale type of thing for a whatever it is in the final 3 episodes that people haven't seen yet. And so this was very much a setting things in place, setting the table, getting people from point A to point B, so that when we have our big showdown that they are setting up at the end of this episode, everybody is where they need to be for it to happen. I want to start off talking about the kind of slightly slow starting episode, but when I was watching this first half, I was thinking like, wow, there's really not much, but so much happening in this at the same time. Like there's not a lot of plot movement until the end of the episode or the later half, but it's constant, if not action, movement, fast-paced dialogue, setting the table straight from the beginning. And so, Sean, what do you think about John and Argus going after the portal? I love this kind of dynamic of John being taken against his will to help out and telling Bordeaux, like, no, you actually are getting paid to deal with me. Read my fucking file. It says I'm difficult to deal with, but worth it. So yeah, you are getting paid for it. I thought that was incredible. What do you think about how this episode starts off and John's hostage situation essentially at work?
It is so funny when he goes in the. If you've read my dossier, you would know that you are dealing with this. So you actually are explicitly paid to deal with my shit. He is so great. Steve Agee is amazing in this role, and I love that he's not that he didn't get a chance to shine in season 1, but it's like way more in this season than the first. And I love even how the season started, where he's like, he's not. I wouldn't say he's my friend. Talking about Peacemaker, and now you can tell like he really is his friend, and he like feels bad. He's trying to like, dude, we have to come, blah blah blah, get out of there. I love to see that like interaction of him trying to warn him, but while still trying to keep his job because he knows he needs this job at the same point. And that's kind of the crux of everyone sans Peacemaker in this, is like they're so stuck professionally, and that's hurting them outside of work as well. So seeing him, the whole scene with him bringing up the thing to just be like, yep, and I gotta put the leads in, and then I just gotta press this button. It was just so funny. And him, I love that they're calling out, because I think probably most people thought when Michael Rooker was cast as this, we didn't really know what his role was before we saw them in the show, but then being like, oh yeah, this is kind of not okay, right? And like, so obviously they bring it up, like what is it, Captain Culture Appropriation? Amazing.
Yeah.
that was the best.
favorite part.
Yeah, that was so great. And even like the weird back and forth with him and Judo Master. If I wish you were dead, it's like, oh, you'd carry around my dead corpse. It's like, yeah, and I would have fun with it. Like, it's just amazing. And just the Ginger Cool joke is still so fun, and shortening it to GC. And just that whole back and forth, and like, again, Sasha kind of playing like the straight man in the dynamic, even though she's not being overly serious either, and being like, why would you wink and say that? That doesn't make any sense. And then paying it off later. It was just like that dynamic was so great between all of the Argus members. Just, that was good stuff. It was a good start, I think. And obviously, like, it picks up right where the last episode left off. So it was just like straight to work. Let's keep things rolling.
I am not American. I've been to Chicago once, so I've been to Illinois one time. Sean and Rachel, you're both fairly well traveled. Do they wink to say we're all in this together in Illinois, in the Midwest?
No.
I've also only ever been to Chicago, and it was twice for no more than like 2 days.
So many rats there when I went. Rats everywhere in Chicago.
I've only been to Chicago to play shows, and I was there to play the show, and then I left. I saw the Bean every time, though, so that's cool.
I've been to New York 4 times, and I saw probably 5 times the rats in Chicago than all the times I was in New York combined. It was shocking. Like, it was nuts. I think there was like an issue the time I was there. Like, I don't think it's all the time that bad, but like it was wild. It was like the scene in Ant-Man when he's walking off of the bed, and it's like as he gets off of the bed, the ants just disperse for his feet. But it's scary because it looks like you're about to step on a bunch of like fire ants. That's what it was like for the rats when I was walking down these streets. It was like they're scurrying around your feet. It was terrible. But alas, I thought that scene was pretty funny too. Like, there are certain ones where it's like, if you like James Gunn comedy, you will find certain scenes hilarious. If you don't, things like the burn blindness will lag on a little bit long for you, because they don't just drop it in once and then let it go. Like, it's gonna take on an entire scene sometimes. And so this was some of the stuff that was really doing it for me. I thought it was very funny, the dynamic between I don't remember Tim Meadows' character's name off the top of my head.
Agent Fleury,
Bordeaux, and Economos. It was all pretty great. Rachel, what were your takeaways from the start of the episode, whether it be their dynamic or the return of Judo Master or introduction of Captain Cultural Appropriation?
Captain Cultural Appropriation is my favorite joke of the first like 6 episodes. The beginning of this episode, I love that Eagly is just up to shit right out the gate. Like, I love that it's like he gets home and is like, hello, and it's Eagly at a fridge, like, let me in. And because that's the best character in this show. And while all those people are great, I only care about that eagle. And so that is my favorite part of the beginning of this episode is Eagly not understanding the weight of a situation and instead being like, food though?
I know I bring this up all the time, but just because he is an absolute legend and I want to bring attention to how great he is, D. Bradley Baker, aka Eagly, in this. Sean, are you aware of the vast, extensive catalog that D. Bradley Baker has as a voice actor?
Yes, I know he did all of the clones in Star Wars Clone Wars. All of them.
All of the clones in Star Wars Clone Wars, as well as just like literally any animal or beast you've seen in anything ever. It's probably been D. Bradley Baker. You've seen Shang-Chi? That's Morris. That's Morris in Shang-Chi. You've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? That is Appa. That is Momo. You've seen The Legend of Korra? That is Pabu and Naga. He is just an absolute legend with roles like where he's, speaking like he's a person, like he is in all the Star Wars stuff. But even if you've recently played Star Wars Outlaws, he's Nyx. He's all of the Bad Batch. Like, he's just truly an incredible talent. So shout out to D. Bradley Baker. He was Blurp in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He was Wolf in Young Justice. Like, just any beast or animal in all your favorite TV shows or movies, he has done it. Truly incredible stuff. Shout out D. Bradley Baker. I guess I can't really ask. There's a bit of a. I was gonna ask Rachel for theories involving Eagly and Captain Cultural Appropriation because I don't remember his real name, like Michael Rooker's character's name for episode 5. But I guess that we'll save that for the end, and I'll keep it for Chris because Chris didn't. Sorry, Chris was on it last week's episode. Jeez, told you I'm out of sorts. We'll keep it for Sean because he has not seen episode 5.
Fair, I've only seen the next 2 episodes because James Gunn famously said, "You're not getting the rest," to me in a chunk. He was like, "No one's getting the rest of the season." I was like, "Okay, can I be an exception to the rule?" I was not.
Rachel, I want to lead into kind of the act 2 of this episode before we get to the big, setup for the showdown in the next episode. But we get some really strong moments of Chris and Ad's bonding in this episode where, we see Vigilante likes to call himself Peacemaker's best friend, but we see that it's Ad's and he gives her all the deets, like all the things we've been like theorizing about and wondering, like, is he going to try and stay in that universe? Like, what about the people in this universe? Like, what is he going to do? He breaks it all down with Ads, like all that inner conflict. He kind of he lets it all loose and the audience gets a full window into what's going on into Chris Smith's mind.
Yeah, and I love their friendship. Every time I see that theory that people have about what the deal with the alternate universe actually is, I'm like, oh no, he's not, like, if that's true, Chris Smith is not going to be happy because his best friend is Ads. Like you said, Vigilante thinks he's his best friend, but it's Leota. I love that little dynamic. I love that, like, it started with the two of them kind of like being at odds and growing into like a very fun and healthy kind of back and forth between the two of them, because he is very honest with her and she in turn is very honest with him. And Chris never had that. And so I am very excited to see those little scenes that keep popping up.
They all, they have their little squad with their weird dynamics, and they absolutely are friends because they've bonded on insane levels of saving the world together and going through insane danger. But it kind of feels like Chris and that's why I called you Chris. It wasn't even from Chris joining our show last week, our friend Chris Mills. It was from talking about Chris Smith. There it is. But Chris and Ads, Sean, they feel like the only like true friends in this, in terms of not like they're all friends, but there's a different level of intimacy to the relationship between Chris and Ads, in the sense that like they're actually willing to confide in each other.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's partial too, is where they're kind of, I mean, they're all kind of loners, but they're like definitely alone. And I think they're both. Actually, Adebayo, I don't think is fully aware of her faults, and I think she's starting to become. And that was kind of the conversation they had about what was like Pro Soldier magazine or something, and Chris is like, yeah, like 12 people subscribe to it. And she's like 1,200, and he's like, no, 12 people. And I think that was a good wake up call for her because like, you know, like I just gotta wait for the calls to start rolling in. I don't think those calls are coming. But yeah, they're like, even in the rooftop party scene, they mention how even when people hang out when it's not a group, it's always with Chris. Chris is like the glue. He's the guy holding that whole friend group together. But yeah, their relationship is quite beautiful, and it's hard to argue Chris and be like, yeah, going there is wrong, because if I was in his position and that opportunity arose, I think if anyone lost someone so close and so tragically, and they had an opportunity to have that relationship again, and especially when it seems like a very good brotherly and fatherly relationship, like you would probably want to take that chance. And of course, I'm sure the other shoe is going to drop with that universe and it being immensely messed up. I'm sure that is happening. I am kind of worried that when they go in, if like Ads comes with him and that's how they find out, that's that could get real sticky of a situation there. I'm also kind of like, because there's a trailer for next week's episode, and obviously you guys have seen next week's episode, but it seems like Eagly's coming with him at least when the gate opens up. He's like, "You ready for your next adventure, pal?" And it's at least him coming with him. And it's like, if this is an alternate universe, and a lot of people are comparing it to Earth X in the comics, which that's where Germany won World War II, and then you can kind of guess how America unfolded if that is what happened.
Nazi
In history. And it's like, so what do they think about bald eagles there, so and obviously it doesn't seem like there's an Eagly in that universe either, so I'm just very interested to see how that's all gonna go down, and I have a feeling it's gonna be crazy. Like it's gonna be a wild, I think those last 3 episodes, obviously you both have said that, like, no one's seen those, so I have a feeling they're going to be pretty crazy if that's the fact, and all the cast is kind of hinted at it and stuff. So we'll see. I'm hoping it is Earth X, and the cameo we think we're getting from like Superman, and if Hawkgirl and Green Lantern come back, and it's like the Nazi Justice League, that would be wild to see. We'll see. I don't know. I wrote a Clyde article about it, and I was like, that'd be wild if everyone's like, yeah, Superman will show up, but it's not.
It's Homelander.
What we saw from the movie. It's basically Homelander, but worse because he actually knows how to use his powers. Brutal, but we'll see. I don't know. But their dynamic is great, and I think those are the 2 people I'm worried about the most of like surviving this season. I think would be Adebayo and Eagly. And if something happens to Eagly, I'm gonna be. I don't know. I don't know if James Gunn would do that, but we'll see. I don't know.
If it does end up being the Nazi universe, hopefully Rick Flag will be able to follow him in with his guy GI Robot as some backup, so he can just go in there GI Robot style and do what he's got to do. But I want to transition next to the Harcourt aspect of this, because she's still just on her own, kicking people's asses in bars, looking badass and buff as hell. And then Rick Flag shows up to her home. They talk more about the dynamic between her and her son. And much like Economo, she is still willing to say, like, did I say her son? Oh, I meant, yeah. His son.
Messed up.
That'd be messed up. And his son, Rick Flag Jr. But we also see how she now feels about Chris and Peacemaker in that moment where she says, like, she's willing to say to him, like, it wasn't his fault. Like, Waller was making him do it. And Flag Senior brings up a really good point. Like, we saw me refuse her orders in Creature Commandos. We saw you refuse her orders in Court of Maltese with my son. How come he's not doing it? Rachel, what's your take on that conversation?
I just wrote about this. The difference is Chris Smith had a chip in his head that would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew it. And he knew if he disobeyed her, she would murder him right there on the spot. So that, to me, is the biggest difference between those two situations is like, yeah, they had the freedom to disobey her and do what they want. Yes, it was a risk and could have blackballed them, but Chris could have like legitimately been killed. And so I don't like, on the one hand, yes, I was like, sure, but you're missing an important part of what was going on with Chris Smith in that moment when he followed through with his orders.
A really,
I think
really
it's very
good
much
point.
Yeah, Rick Flag just trying to justify his actions. He's obviously taking advantage of Harcourt and her attachments and her livelihood at that. So it was definitely her manipulating her in that situation. But you're 1,000% right. Like, they did not have a bomb implanted in the back of their necks next to their brain.
And
so
even if, I mean, I know that Rick Flag knows, and I know that she knows. All I really wanted was for her to be like, yeah, you didn't have a bomb in your head. Or just like acknowledge that, but they were like, yeah. I'm like, no, yeah. Like, he
yeah.
had a bomb in his head. Like, yes, you could tell that version of Chris Smith, I think, would have done that anyway, because it was an order and because like he was all about like, oh, America protecting, brr, 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 brr. But like, if now Chris Smith, like this version of him, 100% would not have done that, wouldn't have carried it out. But despite what he would or would not have done, the thing is, like, on a fundamental level, he had a bomb in his head. So he knew that if he didn't do an order, he would get killed.
On a fundamental level, he had a bomb in his head. Sean, what do you, that beautifully said. Sean, what do you think Harcourt's going to do? Chris messages her. She messages back. She arranges a meeting. How do you think this is going down?
it's hard because obviously I haven't seen the episode, but I've seen trailers, and it kind of reveals what happens. I do think she's gonna turn him over because I think she fully thinks she has no choice. She does, but I get her position in a way because what else is she gonna do with her life? I don't know. But also you're betraying your friend, and I think it's also on top of her getting her job back, it's her trying to deny that she has feelings for him too. So I think, her mind's all messed up and trying to justify how she's doing this for her and how she doesn't really care about him or whatever. But I do think ultimately, even if she does turn him in at this, it'll be kind of like Adebayo in season 1, and she'll end up trying to help him in some way, shape, or form. Like, that's the biggest question I have about this is I don't know how Chris is going to get away with this one, with the whole Argus thing. I do think the Rick Flag Jr. alternate universe thing might have something to do with it. We'll see how that goes. I'm very interested to see how that all plays out. The alternate universe and Chris getting away with this. Like, my dream of dreams is for Chris Smith to be on some sort of team. I don't think he'll be on the Justice Gang, but if they form like another type of super group team for the DCU and
Suicide Squad.
No.
Well, no, because I don't think they'll do that. They already have Creature Commandos. So why would they do another? I mean, I guess I could. I do think it might end in Checkmate, and everyone works for Checkmate. It's even Waller too. Like, she ends up heading Checkmate. We'll see. I don't know. I'm spitballing. But yeah, I do think she's going to turn him over initially, but then later on we'll realize I messed up. I got to fix this. Whatever that may be, because I think at that point they'll have to venture into the alternate universe and try and get Chris back. We'll see.
Keeping it with you, Sean, as I asked for some more theories from you, but we see, and I'm realizing the flaw with the name Captain Cultural Appropriation for Michael Rooker's character, because it's not even that he's appropriating a culture. He's just, I think he thinks he is, but he's doing all kinds of crazy shit that are like beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, it's past the level of cultural appropriation. But he strips off most of his clothes. He's doing a dance with his blood all over the sand to mystically be able to fly into the sky and see Eagly. He's got some metahuman powers here, and he is soaring through, and so he knows where he is. We're getting some kind of showdown here in the 5th episode, Sean. Now, like you said, we saw in the trailer Eagly going with Peacemaker to the next dimension. It's a little bit like watching Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four when we've already seen the chairs for Avengers Doomsday, and it's like, these people can't die. We know they're going to be in the next movie. It's like, we know Eagly's making it to the end. Which is this totally off topic. And so bring me back if I get too far away. But I was just thinking of this the other day as I was theorizing and spitballing ideas in my head related to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Did we see Tom Hiddleston's chair? Did he get a chair for Avengers Doomsday?
We talked. That was my favorite chair.
Yes.
Nice.
That's my favorite chair.
Okay, cool. Then yes. I just wanted to confirm that in my brain before I started doing different theory things, and it made me think like, damn, how much would it suck if we get I hope Loki's not like another example at the beginning or end of a movie of like, Loki's gonna die again. Look at Doom's power. Bam! Now the multiverse is open. We're gonna kill him again. I hope that's not what happens. But alas, we're talking Peacemaker, not Marvel Universe. We're talking Marvel Zombies in a couple weeks, but not yet. Bringing me back to the showdown between between Eagly and Michael Rooker's character. Do you think we are getting an epic showdown in episode 5, or do you feel it's a little anticlimactic after seeing the trailer?
I mean, no, I think it's still. I mean, after that, the whole scene of Eagly taking out all those Argus agents, I would gladly see Eagly rip this dude to shreds. Totally cool with seeing that. I think that will be great if that's what happens. I was not expecting this weird, totally off the wall, ridiculous dude to have actual like magical abilities. I was like, oh, and also I was thinking when he was doing like the blood circles, I was like, that's a lot of blood. Like that's a lot of blood. It wasn't like a little streaks in those circles. Like there was like a lot of blood. But then I saw it was like pouring from his head, and I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I was shocked with the magic, like the astral projection kind of thing. I think Beast Boy uses similar things sometimes, which that's pretty cool that they did that. That's something I was not expecting. I remember the shot of like the blue fire from the trailer or whatever, but I was not expecting him to full like do a magic ritual and pull that off. But yeah, all signs are pointing to that cabin for sure. Everything's going to there. I mean, there's obviously the meeting point that Harcourt and Peacemaker are going to as well, but I think it'll all end up at the cabin eventually. So I'm excited to see Eagly hopefully take down this dude, take him out. Bird killing psycho, as a kind of goat refer to him as.
Rachel, obviously, we kind of have to extend beyond season 5 beyond episode 5 without referencing episode 5 if we're going to theorize. But any other final thoughts on 4 or thoughts for the future of the theories for the future of this season that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I'll save them for next week because I can't talk about my theories.
And a perfect tease for next week. Stay tuned. I will not be here. Sean will not be here, but you will have Rachel and you will have Damon, potentially some other guests. We'll see. I haven't set that up yet, but Rachel and Damon to talk about Peacemaker season 2, episode 5 on Friday at the same time. So make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts here on YouTube. Hit the like button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future content, because we do still have the Comic Corner dropping every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with Damon AF and TJ aka Fat Thor, and we have my interview with Brad Winterbaum and director of What If and Marvel Zombies, Brian Andrews, coming here in the next couple of weeks. We have Gen V, which we'll be covering on the podcast, Marvel Zombies, which we will be covering on the podcast, plus lots of stuff from the Toronto International Film Festival TIFF 2025 up on agentsoffandom.com, in addition to the Summer I Turned Pretty recaps, Only Murders in the Building, Peacemaker, and a lot more. So make sure you stay tuned and check out the website for that. Rachel, where can the people find your content, and where can they find you on social media?
You can follow me at Rachel Leishman on Twitter, Rachel_Leishman on Instagram and Twitter, or Instagram and TikTok. Follow me on Letterboxd. If you search my name under members, you got it. You can see my work at the Mary Sue and Collider, and you can listen to my podcasts, Padro Pascal, the Powell Pod, Cinema Sibs, and the Fordcast, wherever you get your podcasts. But follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm begging you.
Follow the Agents Fandom on TikTok and Instagram, as well as Twitter, everywhere else. It's at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. Sean, where can people find you, your podcast, and your writing?
Yeah, MetalCoreNerds.com. It's the same on all social media platforms. Podcast where I have people on from bands and we talk about what they like in pop culture. It's a fun time. It's a good time. It's very cool. Next week's episode is the guitar player from Dance Gavin Dance. If you listen to Dance Gavin Dance, I'm sure Damon will be very stoked about that. And then you can find my writing at collider.com and Agents of Fandom, of course. I've been writing about some rom-com comedy stuff on Collider lately, which has been a nice change of pace for me. I just wrote about Nobody Wants This, have a Platonic article coming out, and hopefully an article about the Runarounds, that show on Prime Video that I talked about a while ago, which I learned some new info on. Way cooler than I thought it was. I thought it was pretty cool, but apparently a band, they're an actual band that in the show. They're like an actual band. And I knew they wrote songs for the show, but they actually wrote them, and they actually play music outside the show. And I was like, this is way more impressive than I already thought it was pretty impressive. So really cool stuff. And I guess, yeah. Wait, what was that?
I just thought they were actors.
No, yeah, full. And I guess they got formed for Outer Banks. They did like a guest thing on Outer Banks, and then that's how we got the idea for the series of this. But they're an actual band from that, which is really cool. I just thought most of them are really good at faking it, and they probably sang, or at least knew guitar a little bit. But they write the songs too, so good for them. Very cool. That's
Check out Sean's work over at colliderAgentsFandom.com and on MetalCoreNerds. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We will see you next week for some more Comic Corner, for some more Peacemaker, and then we will be getting close to some Gen V and Marvel Zombies as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. On behalf of myself, Sean, and Rachel, we will see you next time. Peace.